Patterson outlined a mediation model tracing the effect of parental stresses on child behaviour. He stated that stresses directly interfere with skillful parenting, especially discipline problems, which increase the risk of child adjustment problems. So here we are saying that if the parent is stressed, this will directly impact on the way the child is behaving, as well as making it more difficult to get the child to do what you want. It may be a simple case of, "Right, Abdul, get ready, I'm taking you to football practice in 10 minutes. Poor Abdul replies, "No, I am not going," and decides he runs upstairs. So what evidence and research has been conducted to help support this theory of parental stress and the impact on the child? I decided then to look deeper into a research paper. This one-step mediation model provided an acceptable fit to the data for sample 1 of single mothers. Structural equation modelling was used and demonstrated. Increased levels of single-parent stress related to the differences in discipline effectiveness for the child. The results showed that this in fact led to increased antisocial behaviour. To simplify this, we are saying that the parent is now under more stress and more pressure, finding it more difficult to discipline their child. The child is not listening to the parent and going out and getting themselves into trouble within the community because of negative behaviour, which they are now demonstrating because of the impact of single mother parental pressure. Research from the second sample showed stressful life experiences influence families with two parents as well as single parent families. Two different investigators independently arrived at the conclusion that parental depression could possibly result in adverse social development. Conger et al. Used a community sample of families to investigate these mediational processes. The findings from these inact families replicated those results from the Oregon Youth Study in showing no direct correlation between stressful life circumstances and disrupted parent practices in two-parent families. However, parent stress did correlate with parent depression, and this in turn related to disrupted discipline, which ultimately leads to antisocial behaviour. Now, let's flip the coin. I have now decided to investigate further and evaluate parental stresses within a sporting context. I have looked into a particular study which was carried out and will now discuss some key results. The content of this study also appears in a book called Psychology of Sport and Exercise. The title of the particular topic which I am looking at is Stress in Youth Sport. The study investigated the stage-specific stresses experienced by British tennis for parents whose children were situated either in a sampling, specialising or investment stages of participation in sport. Analysis of the interviews led to the identification of three general dimensions of parental stresses: organisational, competitive and developmental. Now let's take a look at the evidence of some of these key areas that trigger parental stress. Time emerged as a prominent stressor for all participants. The day-to-day time requirements and organisation required to enable participation and progression in tennis impacted upon parents' general lifestyle, family routines and obligations. One mother recounted, "I think probably you get so tired sometimes when you're just doing all the travelling, all the training, running a home and all the other stuff with the other members of the family, as well as on top of everything else. You feel a bit stressed out then." Furthermore, as one father stated, that is my life: work, tennis, bed. Parents with other children described feelings of guilt and worry in response to the stresses that arise because of the unequal time they spend with one child compared to other siblings. Many parents in the specialising and investment stages recalled extensive financial stresses. Parents in the sampling stage estimated costs between $2,000 and $3,500 a year on tennis, with one parent expressing stresses regarding future financial costs of tennis involvement. She quoted, "I mean, if he was to go to Newquay and win the area tournament, they'd say, right, next week, Leeds. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be able to do that." However, in the specialising and investment stage, the burden appeared to increase enormously. Another mother stated, "It just spirals out of control." Parents with children in the investment stage estimated spending between 15,000 and 20,000 per year on tennis. One family declared, "We've been broke for 8 years and that's no exaggeration." Another mother divulged, "I've already remortgaged twice and I'm thinking I might have to do it again." The majority of parents identified watching matches as a stressor, with many stating it was the largest stressor they encountered. For example, one of the parents said, "The biggest stress for me, I suppose, is actually watching her play. The child's performance, behaviour, and the outcome of the match were inextricably linked to this." One parent identified, "It's stressful as a parent because you always want them to do well. Furthermore, parents want their child to be happy, and parental stress was enhanced when they saw their child distressed on the court, displaying bad behaviour, or expressing disappointment following a match." The vast majority of parents disclose stresses associated with sport, relationships, and interpersonal demands, mainly related to the other tennis parents or to their own child with respect to negative behaviours or dealing with the outcome of competitive matches. When 14 parents reached the specialising stage, they appeared to enter a phase of conflict, worry, and uncertainty around their child's education, their tennis development, and future prospects related to both. Sidebotham 2001 notes the stress experienced by parents in relation to their expectation for their children to achieve. For child athletes, such achievements may be in relation to both sporting and academic success. Parents worried about making incorrect decisions regarding their child's academic or sporting future. They felt enormous pressure to follow either the academic or tennis route and hoped that their child was successful in this. Paper 1. This tells us that parental stresses has a huge impact on the child's adjustment and discipline, which can potentially lead to antisocial behaviour, which concludes in adverse social development. In some cases, this is even before the child has managed to have some form of sporting activity built into their life. Paper 2. This tells us that when the child is actively involved in sports participation, a different set of parental stresses are activated through the such processes of sampling, specialising, or investment stages of participation in sport. Just to note, Patterson and Yoga 1993 quoted, "A further impact on the child is increased risk for academic retardation, rejection by normal peers, and increased depressed mood." As a parent, are you letting your stress impact on your child's overall development?